So, people are saying they can't hear me. Can they hear me now? Okay. Can you hear me? They got me now? All right. How's everyone doing? Okay, again, take 2. Welcome here, everyone. We're going to chat, and I'm going to take some questions in a little bit. So if you do have anything drumming related you want to talk about, really, I'll talk about whatever. We're here to just really open up. Hey, T? Yes. So thank you for being here. I'm going to play a few tunes, and then we can start chatting. Okay? Let's start this last one over. I messed it up anyway. And there we have it. So that's a song that I'm going to be releasing soon, so you all can shred it way better than me. That's one it's called Density Altitude. It's written by a guy named Chris Fisher. And he writes really cool tunes. So he wrote all the tunes for the Drumeo method. And I got him to write a bunch of tunes for me, because I like to practice new stuff. I don't really like doing that many covers, unless it's Dave Matthews. So let's just check in here. I'm going to check in on the YouTube chat. So if you are on Facebook, I won't be able to follow them all. I have no host here today with me. I guess Dave is upstairs. What's Dave doing? Working hard? So how's everyone doing? So Patrick, Gerhadi, do I love seeing? Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Aaron, good to see you here. Molly, good to see you here. Spencer, Dark Alley Recording. So if anyone has any questions you want to chat about any sort of drumming stuff, I'm happy to share some stuff with you. One thing I will kind of, just to get it started, I'll show you something I've been working on. And whenever you work on new things, or at least for me, if I work on a new pattern, when I start working on the new pattern, or the new fill, or the new warm-up, or whatever, I really don't even know like what is going to be the purpose of what I'm doing here. So a lot of times, I know that sounds kind of funny, but a lot of times I'll play something, like the first time I learned a paradiddle diddle, I just did. I had no idea how that would actually translate into music in any way. And it really took a long time of me just doing. Before you can play it in a way which sounds like something. But even that's just like a bunch of notes played really, really quickly. It really doesn't mean anything musically, right? So before you can actually do anything with it, you kind of have to start somewhere. And you have to start at the basic level, which is rudiment, which means the most basic form, right? They are the letters and words. And there's lots of rudiments, I would say, when it comes to our hands and our feet around the drum set. So one rudiment I would say between the hands and the feet would be right, left, bass, bass. You can hear I used it a lot in that last song, right? That was 4 notes and then 2 basses. So I've gotten relatively comfortable with that. You know, and everyone's kind of got that one down, I think. Like, at least, not everyone, I should say, but a lot of drummers are able to play that quite confidently. One thing I always really, really sucked at was right hand bass drum, left hand bass drum. And you see a lot of great drummers, and they're doing cool stuff. So it's something I'm working on, right? And I do right hand, right bass drum, left hand, right bass drum. But it's not at the point where you're going to hear it in a lot of music. It's at the point where it sounds very rudimentary, and it sounds very much like, oh, he's playing an exercise. And if I did put it in a song, let me just show you how it would sound. I'll play this song again. And I'm gonna check the chat soon for those wondering, and we're gonna talk about some stuff. So I just gotta plug it in, hey T. Okay, so let's go. Right here. So you hear there, it sounds like a total abomination. It sounds like, what's he playing? The dynamics aren't right between the floor toms and the bass drum. The bass drum probably sounds a little bit too heavy or too quiet at certain points, and there's too much texture, not enough consistency. And so that's where generally when I start practice something, that's where it is at. And that's where one of those things is at now. But one thing I've been doing, which I want to show all of you, which I think is really, really fun, is practicing that. And then transitioning quite quickly to basically still one with the hands, but two with the feet. So. That's like what practice will look like many times at the beginning of a practice session. And I'll do that, kind of get my hands warmed up, get the differences between the hands and the feet, some of the independence, some of the dynamic stuff. I kind of get that going. And then if I go and just play a normal groove, I feel a lot more fresh. And so I love doing that. And you'll probably hear more of that kind of stuff come out. I love this, like something like. I think it has a cool texture to it when played properly. We'll get there. All right, let's take some questions. Patrick, yes, you hate hand-to-foot combos. It's so good, though. Rob Rainsford, I'm a beginner. Will watching Drumeo videos be enough to learn, or should I go get lessons? Okay, we just launched the Drumeo method, and we see so many students who are great self-learners, self-studiers, and we do offer at Drumeo, we offer personalized feedback, so you can send a video, we'll give you advice. That's not to discount any sort of private instruction. A lot of students who use Drumeo, they actually don't have any other options in their area, and so they don't have a good private teacher locally. And so they use Drumeo, they utilize the service that we help when we take phone calls all the time. People send us videos. We really want to provide the one-to-one personalization, and we do the best we can for that. But then you have the Drumeo method, which gives you step by step. But it really, you have to decide like what type of learner are you. So, Gabe, drums. Some advice on getting into the music business with drums in Nashville. Okay, so I toured. I spent a month in Nashville years and years ago. I toured around all the United States. I think I've been in most of the states. I toured in Europe, I went to Estonia, Latvia, Finland. I went all over Germany. I've been to Mexico. I've been all over the world. And touring is not for everyone. So how you want to get into the music business is going to be a really important question that you have to answer yourself. And what do you see for yourself long term? And so I think it starts by doing some self-reflection and figuring out, what do you actually want to do? Do you want to get with a group of people and play music, like join a band and become part of that band, like a founding member? Do you want to audition for a group that's already going, and do you want to start touring with them as a hired gun? It's very different, okay? Because the outcomes can be very different. If you're a hired gun, you own no publishing. You get no royalties. It's like work for hire. It's contract work. And I would say the ceiling on what you could actually earn in that instance is much lower than if you're a founding member of a band. So think of bands like the Beatles. Think of bands like U2, where they're all equal partners. Think of bands like Dave Matthews, where Carter Beauford is a founding member of the band. Their financial situation and their future and their retirement and everything is much different. It's a much different picture than someone who's just playing as a hired gun. There's nothing wrong with being a hired gun. There's a lot of people having a lot of fun doing that. It's just a matter of what your expectations are for yourself. What are your personal goals? What are your professional goals? Is it more important for you to just play music and be a hired gun and you don't care about the money side? Or do you want to start a family? Do you want to buy a house? Do you need to increase your income over time? Then you have to really consider all these different options. And if there's no really right or wrong answer when it comes to like just giving a blanket response over a YouTube comment, but you have to figure out what you want to do for yourself. Deegan, Marvik, is $10,000 too much to spend on drums? Not just drums, but cymbals, recording, and accessories. I perform and record. When I was 15, I saved up $4,000 and I bought a truck. I've been working on the farm. My family had a farm. And I worked on the farm, and I saved up my money, and when I was 15, I spent $4,000 on a truck, and my dad, I don't know what he was thinking, but my dad let me take out a loan, a bank loan, believe it or not, for around $10,000 or $11,000, in addition to the $4,000, because my brother bought a Camaro, and I bought a $4,000 truck, and then I went and spent $10,000 on drums. So if you're asking the wrong guy if you're looking for a reasonable answer, or maybe like a more fiscally responsible answer. I blew all of my money on drums, especially when I was younger. And now we're very fortunate to work with great drum companies, and we do get a lot of stuff at discounts, or we don't even pay anything for it. And that's like, I feel very grateful for that. But when I was younger, I like constantly was just maxing out my credit card on new gear. However many drum sets I could house at the time, I would just buy. And then if I needed to get some money back somehow, I would sell a kit. Do stuff like that. And so for me, I think gear and new gear, it kind of gives me that kick in the butt and inspiration to actually do something. And that's why I like it, and that's why I think it's such a good thing. But it's not an essential thing. Like a $10,000 drum set, you could make a $1,000 drum set sound really, really, really good. You could probably make a $500 drum set sound amazing. So it has to be something that putting that $10,000 in is more than just the quality of the drums, but it's more becoming a mental thing where you're like, okay, now this is like, the Stradivarius of your life when it comes to your drums. And it's going to be something like that motivates you to actually take your business side to the next level. You probably want to start playing professionally more. You start getting paid to play, and so you want to make sure your gear is top notch. Totally understood. Daniel Glass. I don't know if that's the Daniel Glass that's actually been on Drumeo, but I've been playing for about 1.5 months now, and the cymbals that came with the kits showing age. What cymbal kit do you recommend for a newbie? When it comes to cymbals and the cymbal kits, to be honest, I don't really like a lot of them, just because I find they're made with lower quality materials and you don't get a nice open wash sound. So listen to these. When you hear those other cymbals, when you hit them, they're more mid-range. They're more heavy. They're not lathed enough. They're not lathed thin enough. And even if they are lathed thin enough, I don't even know how to describe the sound, but to me, they sound a little bit cheap. And maybe that's because they are cheaper. I don't know. But for me, it's like, go find a great crash cymbal or a great ride cymbal. And if all you can afford is $500 on cymbals, try and buy two that are used, like a crash and a ride, for $250 each, but they're much higher quality. Rather than going and buying a brand new cymbal, like a cymbal pack, yeah, it has maybe a splash and it has a ride, but a lot of them are pretty low quality. And that'd be my caution to you, is like really try and find a way to listen to them. MyCymbal.com has their site is great because you can hear the stuff before you buy it. You can actually hear it recorded. And so I would suggest going there or going to your local music store and actually hitting them. But most of the music stores nowadays, I find they don't actually carry that much. So you are still going to be limited in your choices, but maybe you find like the holy grail of cymbals there. If you want to see how they're made, on our YouTube channel, we have a documentary about that. Just want to quickly touch on one thing, and I'm going to play another song, and I'll take some more questions. So we have the drumming the Drumeo Festival coming up, and so many of you don't know about it here on YouTube and on Facebook. I'm still talking to people, they're like, what, you're doing, you have a festival? Like, when is that? How can I get tickets? And it blows my mind sometimes because I feel sometimes bad at how much we're telling people about it, but in the same way, I don't want anyone who wanted to go to miss out, because if that were me who missed out, I would feel terrible, and I probably would never forgive myself. So if you haven't checked out the Drumeo Festival and the lineup, we have Benny Greb and Moving Parts. Okay, we went a different route. We went more full bands. We have half of the performances are full bands. So we have Sput with his band Ghost Note, Benny Greb and Moving Parts, Jojo Mayer and Nerve, Tommy Igoe and the Whim Trio, and we have Steve Smith. Okay, Steve Smith and his band Vital Information. That's the 5 bands that are playing. Incredible lineup. Okay, that just that I think it's way more worth. It's just so much worth the ticket price. Then we have all the individual performers. We have Achilles Priester. You should see the kit he's playing. It's this monstrosity. Kyle said it perfectly here. It's like a music store at the show. It's so many drums and cymbals. We have Achilles Priester. We have Annika Niles. We have Chris Coleman. Okay, he's never been on Drumeo yet. I'm stoked to see him play. We have Chris Coleman. Dom Famularo is hosting it. And I'm missing one more. Who am I missing? Someone help me out. Help me out. Drumeo.com/festival. It has all the details. Oh, we have Cindy Blackman Santana. So it's an incredible lineup, and I'd love for you all to check it out. I'm just going to post in the chat. And if you want to get tickets, I'd highly recommend you do. Let me know if you have any questions. My email is jared@drumeo.com, so feel free to email me if you have questions. I can hook you up with tickets as well. But I'd absolutely love for you to come. Okay, so let's play another song, and then we can chat some more. Oh, I might need more level. Yeah, it's this song, I think. That's good. That's good. Yeah, isn't that the way it always goes? The one time I don't have a stick, the one time I don't put a stick here before, it flies out of my hands. Ah. I guess that's good practice, though. Okay, so let's take some questions. Yabi says, I get a sore pain. And for those watching on Facebook, I should say, I'm doing most of the questions, actually all the questions on YouTube. So if you're not on our YouTube channel, go over there, hit subscribe. As my 9-year-old says, smash the bell, smash the subscribe button, smash the bell to get notifications. And we'd love to have you there. So let's go back to, oh, where is it? Yabi says, I get a sore pain in my hip from using the kick drum. Is my thrown height or do I need to play more? Okay, someone actually just asked me about it. They said the pain was coming from right here, the top of the leg. Now that can be from the lifting of the leg too much. So it could actually be a thrown height issue. That's something that I had to actually look at and see. So you have to send me a picture of that. And feel free to email me and send that to me if you like. Molly, some of the drummers at Drumeo's show are coming to my hometown of Manchester, the UK, to the drum show. Looking forward to that. Annika Niles is one of them anyway. Yes, she's fantastic. So you're going to get a chance to see her anyway. For those that want to see Annika and tons more, I'd highly recommend checking out the Drumeo Festival. There are a few tickets left, and we'd just love to have you. There's going to be a bunch of industry booths and stuff there. Olive says, how do you choose your favorite drum set? By ear. Basically, yeah. For me, it's like drums are, when it comes to like a Pearl drum set or a Yamaha drum set or DW, they all make really great stuff. I do think they have their unique tones, and they have their unique look, obviously. But it really comes down to there's great people working at Yamaha. They've partnered with us for so many years, since like the very, very beginning in the early days. And so there's that I love about them. Then I love the consistency and the simplicity of them. They're not doing these obscene finishes and crazy stuff. I don't mind some of the pushing the boundaries on that, but I prefer the innovation happen with drumming on the actual shell and the actual like function, whether it be it the snare strain or how we tune them or things like that. I don't necessarily like to push. I don't want a drum set with glitter and holes drilled all through it, for me personally. So I really like this the simplicity. It's a drum set. Yamaha understands this is a kit that needs to work in so many different musical situations with so many different kids, ages 5 years old or even younger, and it has to just work. It has to work in hot and cold, and the kits here, they're like, you can take them on the road, you can beat the crap out of them, and they're still going to sound and look phenomenal. But 10 years from now, this kit will still look phenomenal. It won't look like a 10-year-old kit. It really will look amazing 10 years from now. And so I like that about them. Some other companies that are making great stuff is like my Donette snare. I just love George Way. Ron is just like a huge supporter and makes beautiful stuff. If I didn't like Ron, I would still love his drums. And A&F is making some cool stuff. They're actually coming to the Drumeo Festival, and you should check out A&F's Instagram if you can. They just posted on their Instagram this morning, I think it was, the kit that they're bringing to the Drumeo Festival, and I guess they know Drumeo is like, we have the blue background and everything, but they created this amazing blue kit. I don't know if that's the reason, but I was just like, okay, I need to go to the bank and take out another $11,000 loan because I need to have that. Okay, let's take some more. Will you tour the drum festival and talk to the people? Yes. So I'm going to be walking around the festival the whole time. We actually have Harry Meary coming out. So the dude, if you know him here of YouTube fame as well as many other projects, Harry is, I love his humor, right? And so we actually have Harry, and we have a cameraman. Harry's going to be walking around, talking to students. I'll be walking around the entire time, the entire 2 days. And so it's going to be super fun. So if you haven't got your ticket yet, definitely do so. It's going to be too much fun. And like I said, if I wasn't putting the festival on and someone else was, and I missed it, I would have that feeling in my stomach that where I was gonna throw up or something. So you don't want that feeling. T, you don't want the throw up feeling, do you? You want it? By the way, I'm taking up a lot of your time today, hey? T is you like me, yeah. T, he actually does IT. Isn't that clever? T does IT. What do I like about Evan's drum heads, Kevin asks. Listen. And if you hear the new UV2s, you're going to love them. That's what I like about Evans. They sound good. Sorry, I kind of just got distracted and I forgot I was streaming. I'm like, oh, I should. Thank you all for watching. Thank you so much for coming out and being a part of this. Honestly, it's like, I still am, I'm still always like pinching myself. Is this still real? Am I still doing this? Zach Liggett says, does Drumeo offer lessons teaching people to be better teachers? We have some courses inside of Drumeo on teaching and that sort of stuff, but we don't have anything specific. We used to have a program called Drumeo for Teachers, but we shut it down because we didn't have the resources to really truly support it at the level that we wanted to, and so we couldn't actually maintain it. And so we kind of shut it down, but I'd love to work on stuff because we're having more and more requests come for first help. You know, I think teachers need help on modernizing their current practice and what they're doing and figuring out a way to work better with the whole DIY learner. So there's so many students that come to Drumeo. We have thousands of students that use Drumeo, and they use it as their sole way to learn the drums. Now, if that teacher, instead of looking at Drumeo or looking at YouTube or looking at all these other lesson sites, if they stop looking at those sites as the competition, the devil, oh, those people are stealing our students, not saying many of them are, I'm just saying this is one of the things I'm kind of seeing from time to time. And if they stopped looking at it as competition, and we all looked at it as we're just selling drumming, we're really trying to get people to keep on drumming, and we need to find more ways to work together, I think we'd all be a lot more successful. And so that's where I think there's an opportunity for private teachers to figure out a way to work better with online education, be it Drumeo or be it whatever. Okay, so it's not just Drumeo. We're not the only ones doing this. There's lots more people teaching online, whether it be on YouTube or wherever. So Drumeo, we have our own little kind of, I call it like a walled garden, because in Drumeo, we control everything. We don't allow certain things that YouTube would allow. We don't have advertising before videos. We don't hook you and then follow you around the internet and track everything you're doing like Facebook would do or stuff like that. We use these platforms to connect with you like I'm doing now, but I wouldn't get all of my education from it, just because I personally would find it a little bit frustrating, and I don't think it would be thorough. It's more or less taking pieces of things rather than going down a specific path towards, whatever goal you're trying to hit. And I think that's what Drumeo does a good job of, is we can get you down that specific path. My drum set is approaching dream theater size. Should I switch to a rack, or will it limit me spatially? Okay, personally, I have used racks before, and I don't like them. But then you have a guy like Achilles Priester, who's coming to the Drumeo Festival. I think he has 2 or 3 racks. Okay, it's like incredible, the setup. And so it really comes down to like what you want to achieve and how that will actually help you. One thing I did like about them is the rack, if it goes around the outside of the kit, it gets all the stands, the floor space that it takes. It's basically just, if there's one rack around front, there's 2 posts there. And if you add down the ends, there's 2 posts there. So there's like hardly anything on the floor other than the bass drum, the snare stand, the hi-hat stand, the bass drum pedal, and then the 4 rack posts. But like right now, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cymbal stands that would be eliminated. Plus, I usually play with more than this as well. So. So Augustine says, how do you practice your stick control for single stroke rolls? Do you use some strength in your thumbs or go around the kit? So when it comes to the singles, one thing I practiced a lot was just doing bursting. So just with riffs, I'll do a single stroke roll, then I'll add in a quick flurry, doubling the amount of notes. So I'll go from 16th notes to 32nd notes. Then once I get that, and I'm comfortable with it, I'll start doing longer bursts. I'll do that for a while and just muscle it out, right? I definitely feel a little bit of tension here as I was going more and more. So that's one way to do it, and you do have to push yourself. So the whole idea of, oh, I'm a little bit sore, I'm going to stop. No, when you get sore, you want to try and build muscle, right? You have to push yourself. You have to like tear the muscles so then they heal and they become stronger, right? So really focus on pushing yourself. One thing I'll say is do not hold the sticks too tight. Pushing yourself does not mean gripping the sticks tighter. Pushing yourself means you might feel it in your forearm and maybe down whatever this jelly part is down here. And one thing I'm focusing on is what Todd Zuckerman taught me, if you've seen any of his lessons on Drumeo, is to try and keep a gap there. I naturally want to close this up, but I try and keep that open. The next thing I practice is finger control, because the fingers do so much of these smaller movements. And so I'll just practice groups of 4 and 8. So there's a little bit on that. Now I see there's lots more questions and stuff, but I do have to get back to some festival preparations. So I'm going to play one more song, and then I'd love for you all to go check out the Drumeo Festival page. There are a few more tickets left. If you haven't got your ticket yet, it's in Vancouver. So if you're on the West Coast, it's like a cheap, quick flight, or it's an amazing road trip. You still have time to plan that. If you are in the local area, in BC, in Canada, in Washington State, in Oregon, it's a really quick drive up. And so we'd absolutely love to have you there. So check out the Drumeo Festival if you haven't. It's going to be starting next week, Thursday. So it's 1 week exactly from today. I'll be on stage with Dom Famularo introducing the most amazing drummers in the world. And so you don't want that sick feeling in your stomach. You don't want a feeling like you missed out. I'd really, really encourage you to come and be a part of it. Come hang with us. Harry Meary is going to be there as a correspondent. Dave's going to be there. All the artists are doing signings and stuff like that. So Seamus is going to be there. Big shout out to the Drumeo Gab podcast. It's Seamus' birthday today, so everyone give him a big shout out. But yeah, and if you have any questions about the festival, feel free to just email me, jared@drumeo.com. I can get you hooked up with tickets as well, okay? So if you need tickets or whatever, go to the festival page. Feel free to email me, though, jared@drumeo.com, and I can get you a hookup on some tickets. Okay, so let's do it. One more song, and then we'll shut it down right afterwards, KT? Okay. What do I want to do here? What do you guys want? Do you want like rock or jazzy or funky? Rock, jazz, funky, maybe R&B? Maybe a halftime shuffle. Let's do this. Excuse me. Let's just get the level a little bit more, because I'm just going to crank it here, T. It's going to be way louder, because for some reason it was really quiet. It'll be way louder. Yeah, so I have to go down a little bit in my ears. That's good.